Hello and welcome to Tech 24 with me, Anelise Borges. Coming up, apps are transforming the world. In today's show, we ask if this is the end of the internet as we know it. And in Test 24, we check out Cinemacity, an app that allows you to visit Paris and feel like a movie star. But first, the iPhone recently celebrated its 6th birthday. Let's take a look at the figures behind this smartphone success story.
Over the past 6 years, Apple has sold nearly 360 million iPhones. This gold mine brought back to the company more than $230 billion in revenue since 2007. That's more than what Apple made between 1990 and 2006. The iPhone has radically changed the company's business. While 40% of its revenue came from Mac computer sales, Apple now generates more than half of its revenue by selling smartphones alone.
Pretty soon, we won't be opening our laptops and clicking on a web browser anymore. Some experts say apps will completely fulfill all our needs and revolutionize the internet. If we consider the number of new apps released every day, we may be inclined to agree with such predictions. In May of this year, Apple reached the 50 billionth app downloaded mark. Marc is here with us to help understand what is at stake if apps do take over the internet. Marc, in your personal opinion, are apps set to replace browsers and transform the internet as we know it?
Well, direct question, Annelise, direct answer, yes. You know, apps are very specific. Each app does a very specific job, and there's apps for everything. You could be in Thailand getting a price on a tailored suit, and you're wondering, is this a good deal? XE currency converter app tells you exactly to the second, you know, how many Thai baht into the euros. You're looking for flights, Skyscanner, kayak, problems sleeping, sleep cycle, apps for everything. Now, they're also changing the way we search for information. You could be looking for a local cafe. Boom, an app will geolocalize you and tell you there's a cafe just next door to you. On top of that, these apps are able to remember a lot of the information. So my favorite Norwegian weather app, YR weather app, remembers all of the places and tells me quite often how much better the weather is usually in the other places compared to Paris. And on top of that, browsers stop. As soon as you click off, that's the end of it. Apps continue to send the information back. But it's not the end of the browser as we see quite yet, because Google Chrome and the Windows 8 navigation system are evolving and starting to resemble more and more like apps. So not quite dead and buried yet, Annelise.
Now, Marc, the Apple Store alone is responsible for putting 900,000 apps into the marketplace. To date, the App Store has generated close to $3.9 billion for Apple. If money is an incentive, we can be sure that companies will go that way.
Absolutely. And at least more and more apps are coming into the market every day. And it's no surprise because it's actually relatively cheap and easy to make an app. And you can look at an app can cost a few pennies and generate millions and millions of pounds. Angry Birds, perfect example. Rovio Studios, that cost absolutely nothing to make. It's now a global brand and has made them absolutely millions and millions of euros. And let's be honest, it's not all rosy for the App Store. There's a new survey that came out, a recent study, sorry, which talked about over 500,000 or around the 500,000 mark of apps can be deemed zombie apps, which are apps that very rarely come up in the searches, very rarely downloaded, and actually just sat there not really doing very much, not generating any money for the developers or for Apple. Now, Apple's answer to that is the majority of them are pretty rubbish anyway, or don't do exactly what it is that they say. And let's not forget there is huge competition in the market, particularly coming from Google Play. I mean, they're actually, at the moment, we're having 500 million more downloads on the Android Google Play Store than on the Apple Store. So, and of course, let's not forget, Windows is still in there, nuggeting away. They've got 150,000 apps available for download. So there is competition, but yeah, congratulations for 5 years for the App Store, that's for sure.
All right, thanks for that, Marc. We're going to test an app on the next segment of the show. It's time for Test 24. Cinemacity promises a way to visit Paris that you will never forget. The idea is to discover the city through the lens of cinema. The concept behind the app is to geolocate film clips throughout the city exactly in the locations where they were shot.
Paris, one of the most beautiful movie sets in the world. Every year, around 1,000 films are shot in the French capital. And today, a brand new smartphone application developed by Arte TV will enable pedestrians to discover the city through the lens of cinema. If you wish to walk the steps of Amélie Poulain in the famous district of the Saint Martin Canal, you'll be able to do it thanks to Cinemacity. The application geolocates the exact places where movie scenes were shot. 400 clips from 126 films are available on the app in French, English, and German. Choose different markers on this map according to your location, to the director, or the release date of the movie. And the application will provide you with a CineWalk. And for movie lovers who want to take the experience further, they can submit their own mini-series, 5 episodes of 2 minutes each. An interesting way to discover a Parisian neighborhood through the eyes of another application user.
And Marc Edwards tested it for us. What kind of movies were you looking for during this test, Marc?
And this is going to sound rather soppy, but you know, Paris is a city of romance, and they've got some fantastic romantic walks. So one of them was called...
Oh, here it comes.
It's really not good for my street cred, that one, but Romantic Stroll by the Water, where you look at films such as Les Amants du Pont Neuf and Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris, starring Owen Wilson. But then again, I did look up a couple of hardcore, slightly more hardcore films, such as Inglourious Basterds by Quentin Tarantino. You get to see where that was filmed, and they have a section called Occupied Paris Walks, which is also quite interesting. Amélie, which I loved, had a look around that. And there's one which I love, I've got to say this one, it's called Light Up, and it's a place where all famous films where they've been people smoking away. So big fans of Jean-Paul Belmondo, such as myself, you can see him smoking all around Paris. Really enjoy that.
And how did you rate this app?
Well, being a huge cinephile, I'm afraid I've probably been I'm not going to say biased, but
generous.
Generous. I love the black and white design that it comes with. It's quite, it gives a very nice vibe to it. Design 7 out of 10, very easy to use, and in terms of relevance, it was great. It's a free app. Loved it.
All right, thanks for that, Marc, and thank you for watching this edition of Tech 24. Don't forget, you can get in touch via Facebook or on Twitter. And we leave you today with a second a day from birth. Sam Christopher Cornwell, a photography student, had the brilliant idea of filming his son Indigo, a second each day, every day, for the past 12 months. The result? One of the cutest videos of all time. Soundtrack is by Michael Donna and the Vodkas. The winner is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Hello, Indy. Cousin Reese. Yes. Ooh. I don't know. Morning, my handsome.